So I'm working on a survey or questionnaire model here for a client and wanted to improve some of the names for the model. This model is not new. We use for other clients and other projects. The basic idea is that you have on the left a questionnaire definition that has all the questions, has all the options for the questions if you have, multiple choice answers. So you have the question, you have the answer options there. And on the right, you have the questionnaire instance that is one user actually filling or recording answers for a questionnaire definition. So you can have one definition, multiple answers or instances of filling or recording the answers. And on the answer, you have simple answers. You have answers that could be free text if the question answer type is free text, or you have the coded answers. That's the answers that are options selected from a multiple choice question. So here you have the option actually selected, and there are also configurations for having multiple answers. So for instance, you have one question definition, you have multiple answers, could be free text or coded from a list of possibilities. And we can allow the client, the user, to actually pick more than one answer or record more than one answer in free text. So that's the answer multiple. That's the role of that class. And what I wanted to do is to improve some of the names that we are using. So we have a model that is more clear, and we can then improve the model. And then that is my current, or the current work that I'm doing is map that to the questionnaires for a client that we have. So for instance, here in the question definition, the question has a text, and the text here is called name. And name is not a good name for the text of the question. So we were looking for options like question text or just text. And I decided to use Claude.AI that helped me in the past to actually figure out which names are better for different fields here. So it's not really modifying the model, it's really improving the naming of some fields and some classes maybe. So what I did, I already did this, and that is why I was surprised, and also why I'm making this video, because it's for a personal log, but maybe this could help others on doing similar things. Like if you are creating a data model, an information model for some data, could be surveys, questionnaires, or could be a different thing. So you can still use Claude.AI to improve your model and the names that you are using, especially if you want your model to be in English, like we have here. We have all the names here are the classes, the attributes, or in English, and I'm not an English native speaker. Yeah, you can tell that I have an accent. My pronunciation is not the best pronunciation, and maybe I don't have a wide range of vocabulary, but still I can speak and understand. But maybe I don't have all the tools that are needed to choose good names. So what I try to do is to have a little discussion with Claude.AI for what I want to represent, and then discuss alternatives. So the first thing that you need to do in Claude.AI and in any kind of chat solution, kind of with ChatGPT, it happens the same, is to have a good prompt. So you try to tell someone, this is the Claude.AI agent, that doesn't understand anything about your domain and what you're doing, to understand it and have just ask a question and have a good answer. So you need to think about that. So what I try to give in general is some context of what I'm doing. Yeah. So here, what I wrote is when defining a data model for servers with questions. So this is what I'm doing and what I'm actually modeling. Can you suggest a good name for the attribute that represents the text of a question? So that way I give the context and I clearly state what I want. If I don't say, like, give me a good name, this is what I want, suggest a good name for what, this needs to understand me. Yeah. So it's the attribute that represents the text of a question. So basically is the name here, what we are naming name here is the text of a question. Yeah. And for that, it actually gave me a great answer first try. So the goal here, I would say, is to provide good prompts. Yeah, good input. And actually, prompt was the suggestion. And after I looked for prompt, I translate that to Spanish. I try to find meaning. I actually asked Claude.AI to translate that, because when I translate prompt in Google Translate, it gave me like a different thing that I was looking for. Is prompt, it was translated to something like fast. Yeah. So in some contexts, prompt means fast, but in the context that I am here, prompt is actually some kind of output, or depends on from which point of view you are looking from. So if you are filling a form, is actually the input to you, so you can answer that. Yeah, and that is actually what I'm doing here with Claude.AI. I'm giving the agent a prompt and he gives it. I called it he because it's kind of a real person how it speaks. So it still surprises me. So I give a prompt and the agent gives me an answer, and the answer has meaning. It tries to understand the prompt and give me the best answer for that prompt. So prompt is actually a good name for the attribute that represents the question, the text of the question. So I will change this. Instead of name, this will be prompt. Yeah, and that is what I will give to my client. Yeah. It can also translate, and when you ask a question and you ask for good names or something that is subjective, it will give you options. Yeah. Because it's not a yes no answer. It's kind of depends. This could be a good name, but also you have a different name here that might be better, etc. So when you ask to translate, it also translates the alternatives that it provides. Yeah. And this, what it says here, enunciado, is really the best translation for prompt, even better than Google Translate. Actually, Google Translate couldn't find the Spanish word enunciado when I translate prompt. So actually, Claude is, in some cases, I would say, at least in this case and other cases that I test, is better than Google Translate for translating specific words. Then in Google Translate, you can provide a full, paragraph or sentence, and it might understand, from the context, it will have a better translation for that word. But since I already provided the context here, Claude.AI already knows the context. So when I say prompt, it doesn't say fast as a translation for in Spanish. Yeah, rápido would be a translation of prompt, but the agent already knows all the context, so that is great. So the other question that I ask is, if there are multiple choice questions and the answer options are part of the model, that is part of my model, yeah, what name do you suggest for the attribute that represents the option text? So it's kind of, what do you prefer, A, B, or C? And the attribute that I can set the value A, B, or C is actually here. And this is also name. And I didn't like to have name here in the question, name here in the answer. And it provided a different suggestions, so choice or option. So this will be choice or option. Option, I like that. But the problem is the class representing the answer option, yeah, that is actually a good name for the class, has option, and I don't like an attribute to also have option, because I will have in my code answer option dot option or dot get option. So it's not really a good name, option. And I actually explained that to Claude.AI. So I say, if there is an option class, it's weird to call also option the text. Yeah. So it suggested alternatives. I asked for alternatives. So text, label, description, content. So actually, text is not bad because it's the option text. So semantically, that is meaningful. But I like label better. I don't know why. Yeah. So option label, I like that because it has also, I think, a link with the user interface, because we will show the label for the option. So it's kind of that. So it's text or label is okay, but I need to choose one. So I choose label here. So with, I don't know, 5 minutes, fiddling around with this, it's just playing and trying to give good questions and inputs, it provided me a lot of good answers. Then one thing that my client has, I didn't have in this model, is that in the model, we have the definition of the questionnaire or survey, the answers, or each filling event, yeah, is the instance. But what happens if I want to tell a user, you need to fill this form or this questionnaire or this survey, and you have until next week to fill that in, yeah? And we work in the healthcare domain, so the user might be a patient, filling a form, filling a survey in a clinic, in a hospital. Yeah? So sometimes we need to send a request, and that was what wasn't in our model. Yeah, send a request to answer a questionnaire. Yeah, to the user, that would be a patient in general. And for that, I added this questionnaire request, and I added user, and we will have one user that requests the survey to be filled, and we have the recipient, that is who needs to fill their record answers for that survey. And I ask good names for the class that represents a request to fill a survey or questionnaire. And Claude.AI suggested, survey invitation, survey request, survey assignment, or just questionnaire. And I like here request, survey request. And that is what I used here, but instead of survey, I use questionnaire because we have questionnaire definition here. Yeah. And our client has a date in which the questionnaire would, or the request to fill a questionnaire would expire, and that's the due by daytime. Yeah. But you can see, I think I asked kind of 5, 6 questions, and I improved a lot in our model. Yeah. I also ask good names for the person that will receive the request to fill the form, the questionnaire. The one that I liked was recipient. Yeah. And who requests, filling the form is the requester. That was another question. Here, before Claude suggested this name, I said, I think, requested by, user. Requested by is a little long. Requester is perfectly fine. So I asked that. So recipient is for me, the best option here. And then we have sender, requester, creator, blah, blah, for the person that sends the request. Requester seems to be good enough. Yeah. So with this, I feel that we have improved a lot in our model in terms of naming. So the model, again, it complies with all our requirements for defining a questionnaire and answering a questionnaire. Yeah. We just need to improve some things that were not, I would say, semantically correct, or the names were strange or not meaningful, like question name. What's a name associated with a question? A question doesn't have a name. Yeah, so those things I think improved our model a lot. And I wanted just to share this video. This is again, it's a personal log, but maybe others can get value out of this exercise. It's really an exercise, but it's a real use case for a real client with a real model and using tools that are freely available. So just give it a try. Bye bye.